Musica, songs and audio for visual media. Good evening. I want to welcome everybody out here to a Musica event right here in the heart of New York City. It is wonderful to be able to have this event here, and we're so excited to have you attending the event as well. My name is Jessica Alvarez. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Musica, and Musica is a music supervision company, music licensing, sync placement, and we are creating a web platform that's going to connect music creators with film creators, visual media creators. I am so excited because here today with me, I have some very amazing experts in the industry and also a legendary celebrity, which all of you will know when he starts speaking about his history. He was a pioneer. I have had the pleasure of knowing most of these people here for almost 20 years, I could say, maybe 20 years or longer. I strongly believe, and I will let all of you know, that networking, relationships, and community are what are going to get you ahead in your career. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and briefly introduce each one of these marvelous people up here, and at the same time later let them give you their 3-minute pitch, as you would say, about who they are and what they do. Here is Mr. Don De Niro. He is a legendary trailblazer, iconic legend in the Latin hip-hop world, when I think everybody else was going, okay, what is this? But he said, this is it. Yeah. And here we've got Juan Carlos. Juan Carlos is the co-founder of Sunflower Entertainment. When actually I was in the management and record label business, we had an artist and we worked together with this artist and doing some sync. I remember that the Toyota commercial. Was that the Toyota commercial? Absolutely, absolutely. And then Jamar Chess is also co-founder of Sunflower Entertainment, and you guys have been together forever, I think. You're almost like a married couple. Work couple. Work couple. So at this time, I'm going to kind of let each one of them kind of tell you a little bit about themselves and exactly what it is they do in the industry.
Are we using this, I'm assuming, right? This mic right here. Yeah, so my artist's name is Don Dinero. I've been in the industry over 25 years. More or less what I'm known for is I'm the guy who kind of changed programming in the United States in 2002 when all Latin radio stations were tropical. It was either Salsa 98 or Salsa this or Salsa that. And at the time, I was coming from the Anglo market, dealing with Jay-Z and Rock Nation and dealing with, so my business aspect of, and then being around Terror Squad and all those guys and kind of seeing how Latinos were really gravitating to hip-hop, I decided to create an all Latin hip-hop album, which is just hip-hop production. To me, hip-hop is production. Now, you can put whatever flavor of language you want on it, it's still going to be hip-hop. So I went ahead and attempted to, and I used a street marketing technique that was never seen in a Latin game before. So I went to Miami, I just flooded the streets with CDs. So what I did 10,000 CDs. We had enough money. I went to every car wash, liquor store, barber shop. So about 6 weeks in, the radio stations are saying, who's this guy? They're playing this in every car. They're playing this song. It was a good record. You have to still do good music. I got a radio interview, and from there, I got like 3,000 phone calls, and they were forced. You know, I had the street force them. They would never have the vision, unfortunately. When you're sitting up there, you don't see what's at the bottom, so they would never have it. I had a guy, a program director named Leo Vela, and he had the vision. He's really the guy who pulled the trigger, and I'll never forget, my brother used to tell me, God rest his soul, my brother Oscar, we're finishing our documentary now, but he was one of the first execs to push Latin urban music kind of to these big execs, and they would always tell him, hey, no one's gonna, you know, I did something, you know, it didn't fit the programming. I didn't understand it, I was too ignorant. What do you mean it doesn't fit programming? So so he'd tell me, hey, after this radio station, you're gonna have to go get a job. He'd keep throwing like, this is not gonna work. So I'll never forget when we left the radio station, we didn't get the call, it was like 10 in the morning. They hit me with the CD, he was like, hey, you're gonna have to go get a job. And he was right at the time. And he gets that call at 2 o'clock and said, hey, we got 3,000 phone calls. Tell your brother at 3 o'clock we're putting the song on rotation. And a week later, my life changed. We had Budweiser calling. I never forget when Budweiser called to pay me like, probably was $5,000 or $10,000 to perform a few songs, and I told my brother, "You sure they don't need a driver for the truck? Do I need to get a job?" And I kind of wrote them for a while. But what I was saying is that it's having vision and being. I was able to break programming at the time. There was a young artist who lived with me that I was developing, and today's name is Pitbull. Akon was another artist at the time we were helping develop. So I've always been attached to artists. At the present moment, I have an artist called NTG, who's the hottest artist in the city right now, hip hop. I've dealt with Daddy Yankee. Daddy Yankee, in his movie, named himself De Niro. He did a kind of movie of, I wouldn't say my life, but you could probably, he didn't pay me no residuals, so he's not going to say it, but let's say it was. So I've had an effect on so many different artists by just trying to help them and guide them. And the difference between me and all of them, from Tego and Don Omar and all those guys who came a little bit after me, was I own all my intellectual property. I came in the door understanding the business. They never met in the Latin game. The guy who put out the CDs, they also had to sit and negotiate a deal with him. Because what I did is, when they really wanted me, I just signed myself. I could open my own label, I signed myself, and then I was able to negotiate with those. Oh, you want to sign Don De Niro? No, you got to negotiate with me because I signed them, right? So it was kind of that. So I was able to learn intellectual property. I was able to do so many different things and continue, was the first guy to get a joint venture at Universal. So I was able to do a bunch of trailblazing things at the time to kind of push them moving forward. And to this day, I continue to do that. She knows I'm involved in so many things. I'm the president of the Latin division for Adventure Music, helping artists own, operate, and monetize their music, because there's 22 million artists in the United States and less than 1% will ever sign a major deal.
And talking about that, I want to say something. The panel is about sync and admin. And he just, I mean, this is going to become a conversation with all of us. He touched on something that's very important right now, owning your intellectual property, especially if you want to do sync. Own 100% of your music, own your masters, own your publishing. This makes it a lot easier for you to be able to negotiate what you're going to be syncing. At Sync Musica, for example, if you want to submit your music, you got to own 100% of the music.
And it's funny that she says that. How long has Sync Musica been around?
We've been around for about a year now.
A couple of years. And who's the first guy who jumped on board?
The first person that jumped on board, my first client was Don Dinero.
Because I have, when I understand starting, how you say it, everyone, the whole purpose of life is to chase a dream. If you are not chasing a dream, I'm telling you right now, you're living a nightmare. I don't care what you say. You need to have something to look forward to get up every day. So, the fact when I see someone creating something and they're chasing something and I can add my little piece, I've always done that. If I tell you the amount of startups and things I've been involved in this industry, it's incredible. From when Telemundo contacts me they have a channel, Mundos, and they're shooting a show called The Roof, and I'm able to jump on that. So I think that Sync Musica is, is something that is what we need. But she said it's the key. To me, it's a key of owning your intellectual property to be able to sit down and do these deals. And it's simple. Imagine having something you can sell over and over and over and over again. Imagine having a sneaker store and you can sell the same sneaker to 1,000. That's all it is. That's the beautiful thing about owning your music, is that you can resell it constantly.
I'm going to pass the mic on over to Juan Carlos, because Juan Carlos' specialty is admin. Okay, so knowing how to admin or organize your music, everything from your metadata, and keep it organized from your IPI number to your publishers, your co-writers, your split sheets, all these things, and you're probably going, what this is? Well, I'm going to let Juan Carlos explain to you how important your admin and what it is that it entails.
So my name is Juan Barguil. I started in the music business over 25 years ago. I did a complement to what Don Dinero did, but I did it from the other side of the business, which was teaching independent artists and songwriters to keep their rights. And at the same time, helping them administering and collecting income worldwide. So we started a company with the purpose of basically providing a service like an investment type of company. You give me your money, we invest it, we'll give you the return, we'll take our commission, everyone is happy, and we make sure that every penny that is generated, not only in the United States, but worldwide, it's collected properly. So we started Sunflower about 23 years ago. I saw that there was a movement of independent artists, producers, and songwriters, Latinos in general, not only here in the United States, but in Latin America. And I said, wow, No one is servicing them. None of the major ones, Warner, Universal, EMI, none of them. You know what? This is where I'm going to come into place. Let's just go out and start signing. We're not going to own it. It's all going to be yours. And if you're not happy with us, you're free to go 3 years later. And the model has worked and continues to work. Because a lot of the artists, like Don Dinero, that do own everything, they're not sitting 24/7 on a desk doing the administration and promotion part of it, the agreements, contacting the PROs, film companies, production companies, television stations. It's just a lot of work. And it has worked over the years and continues to. The movement now has grown tremendously, not only in the United States, but Latin America. We currently have presence in Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, Panama. And these are just markets that are coming up big time, big time. And then Europe, we have countries like Spain, Italy, and France, where there's a great Latin American population that is currently consuming a lot of music. We are also as well in those countries. And primarily, I deal mostly from the admin side. I'm an accountant by trade. Got into the music business because I was bored at a CPA firm. And somehow I did the jump. I didn't want to dress in tie and white shirt and dark suit. And I said, this is not me. Let's just do a change. And I'm here 25 years later. Founded the company with Jamar Chess. Prior to that, I used to manage his father's publishing company, which was not Latin. It was just rock and roll and blues. So that's where I'm coming from.
And it worked so well for Juan Carlos and Jamar that later, I think on Billboard or somewhere, I read that they had done a partnership with Spirit Music Group. Tell them a little bit about that.
Yes, and Jamar can definitely, extend.
Jamar can tell you about that. And Jamar specializes in sync. So he'll be telling you a little bit more information about the sync world. And hi there, how are you? Perfect timing.
Yeah, hi, Jamar Chess, co-founder along with Juan of Sunflower Entertainment since 2002, as he was saying. If you want to feed me some sync questions, I feel like we might be ready.
Absolutely.
You touched on some general music industry basics.
Absolutely, I'm ready for some questions for all of you out there, because I know some, as a matter of fact, we just had a wonderful producer arrive I'm going to direct this question because she attended one of our workshops. Sync Musica starting to do workshops at Funkadelic Studios. Thank you, Funkadelic Studios out there. Every Monday we're doing a workshop called How to Monetize Your Music. Please spread the word. And we had a wonderful producer, lady that's been producing for about 10 years. And her question was, which is perfect for you, Jamar, I've done everything right. I've attended all the songwriter camps. Everywhere I go, they saw your song's ready to be synced. So how come they're not syncing it? So what is it? Is it the gatekeepers? Is it you can't submit unsolicited material? I listened actually to her music. It's broadcast quality. It's ready to go, and it's very trending. So what is it that makes it so difficult for that? Everybody wants to get their song in a movie. What is it that makes it so challenging for talented individuals that have great music out there to get it synchronized?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, there's actually a little bit of luck with sync. I think that is a piece of it. But I do think if you have a particular song that you strongly believe that it should be in program X or whatever it is, and you do your research and you really work hard and try to pitch it, you should technically have some results. It's there then with luck too, but it's difficult. Look, everyone wants to be in tomorrow's Netflix show or whatever it is, right? So you're competing with not only us, with every major publisher, indie publisher, label, independent artists. It's very easy now with looking things up on IMDb and looking who's the producer, what what production companies are filming and where they're filming and what the shows are about. And, so it's easy to ascertain that information and get it to the right hands. But, it's tough. What do you, I'll throw the question back at you. What do you think?
And I would
Yeah.
love to answer that.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
So what it is, because with Sing Musica and myself as a singer-songwriter, I've had the opportunity of placing music on Netflix, as you see on the screen, placing music on Amazon Prime. And I believe that, first of all, it's community, relationships, and network. It's going to take you years. It's going to take you time. It's going to take you a lot of dedication to your craft, making sure that you have all the necessary things for synchronization, because you can't just send a song over. Okay, they're going to want the stems. They're going to want the instrumental. You have to have the correct knowledge and be prepared. And one thing we do at Sync Musica is, if you don't know how to get your music sync ready, we get it ready, not just to pitch it to us, but to pitch it to anybody else that does synchronization, so that when you turn it over, you have a better chance. If you're prepared with the proper procedure for your music, you have the metadata, okay, everything that you need, you have a better possibility when opportunity comes along that you will synchronize that film. But something that Jamar said, I agree. If you have a vision for your song, you say, hey, I want it in Fast and the Furious, the next one coming up. And do your research. Start investigating who it is that's handling that. Who's the music supervisor? Who is the showrunner? These are terms that you need to learn if you're pursuing it. Or sign up with a company like Sync Musica who believe in you. If you have the chemistry, it could be us, it could be somebody else who believes in you and says, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be the pitch agent that wants to push that song for you. And if you don't have the time because you're busy in the studio working with all your artists as a producer, say, okay, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. Please push it. I'll give it to you for 3 years. And then that's what we would love to do for you. But I think that it's having it properly prepared, because the music can be great, but if you don't have all the other knowledge and you don't have it what I call sync ready, you run into a position that they may not take the song, not because it's not good, but because it's not properly prepared for sync.
Yeah, for sure. And that's actually, you could do that easily as well. I mean, it's not rocket science to prepare metadata and prepare all your stems and get everything set up online. That's sort of, easy in a way. But what you're saying about community and relationships, I completely agree. Even break it down to, I believe it's really sales at the core level. If you really want to talk about it, it's really kind of sales. And what's sales? It's relationship-based business. That's really what it is. So maybe it's not the perfect song for, some spot or a TV show, but it's building a relationship with a supervisor or a producer or a production company, and then when that opportunity comes, you're then ready to go.
Right,
So, yeah.
And be respectful in how you approach them. Be respectful, do your follow-up, make sure that you're always, friendly when you send them a message, be quick to the point, but at the same time, don't be too pushy that later they're going, oh, please stop emailing me. Be professional.
Yeah, no paragraph emails, in and out, 5 lines.
Yeah.
For everything in business, I
I'd like to
believe.
add, I think the situation has to do with, like she said, it's relationships. A lot of then you're dealing with popularity of records. If I have the #1 record in the country, it's going to get synced way before your record, right? If he's working on his admin, he's trying to sync. The reason this company works is because you have someone out there who has those relationships, who's going to make sure all your ducks are lined up in orders, your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. So when you do get an opportunity, but it's not only luck, there are gatekeepers. There are guys there. It's all about relationships. So right now, I got all the Paramount music. I don't have time. I have so many. So I know that he's always, every time I grab music from him, I don't have a problem. That's key. So the minute I have a project, I'm calling him and say, submit me 30 songs. So, right, so he's now, now he has 3 million songs. Guess what he's picking? Because now when he says luck, it's also the luck of you getting picked again. It's a picking game. So it's still, in his catalog of all the artists you have, and you look back, say it's not 3 million, say it's 3,000. But now he's got to pick 30 records to send out of those 3,000. So now he's calling his people and saying, hey, you got anything for me? The movie's about this. Right or wrong, and everyone's scrambling, now you're submitting. But it's always who they know. It's not, hey, I just met a girl at the park. I think I'm going to put a movie in there. It ain't going to happen. You need 27 signatures to cut a $10 check at that level. And in popularity. So it's it's kind of like, honestly, I love Cardi B. After Cardi B, I haven't seen another stripper make it. But she's got all the strippers trying to become rappers. Why? Because sometimes you just get touched by the hand of God. Right? It's not just talented. She just got touched. She did the show that she's gone. Every stripper wants to be a rapper. There hasn't been one yet. So what happens is you have to get lucky. Kind of has to be there. So it's just about keep taking shots, keep shooting, keep submitting, keep figuring it out. Me, I just create my own movies. When I don't go into the sync, she knows how we did. We just shot a movie. We just finished. We just shot a movie in Miami. We did the soundtrack ourselves. So as an entrepreneur, what you try to do is you cut steps and you be like, I ain't waiting for nobody to get it. You can do that in yourself too. Like figure something out, get relationships with, I guess, music directors of indie films. They don't have crazy budgets, but if your stuff is right, you have to figure out your niche as an artist, because they're gonna sit here and they know they're kind of really giving you the political answer, but the answer is fucking most likely you're not gonna get your shit placed if you're not really in the right spot at the right time. That's just the real answer, It's when he says it's difficult. It's like you making the NBA. How many basketball?
Perseverance, though.
Yeah, you don't have to give up, but I'm saying it's trust me, Pitbull, all the big artists, everyone wants to get their song placed, and they can't even get it placed half the time. And they're the big ones, so imagine the little one,
Yeah. It's also being with, we spoke about this at the workshop, being with like-minded people. I spoke about Sync Musica, as Don Dinero said, at my first speaking panel was at a hip-hop DJ convention, because I happen to know DJ Felix Sama. He said, come on, people need to know what you're doing. The Latin community and all the communities know. And Don Dinero was on the panel. And he was like, this is really something that our community needs. Yeah. Okay? And so the minute he said that, I not only wanted to sync the artist's music, I wanted to empower them and educate them so that they are also able to know how to get to where they need to go. You're looking, again, I repeat, synchronization is one of those things that is a synchronization admin. They're the most lucrative things to make money in the industry, but they're also the most challenging.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, touching on the sync issue, we travel a lot. And we build a network. We go to Colombia, we research who are the top music supervisors, we shoot them an email, hey, we're gonna be in Bogota. You wanna grab a cup of coffee? Boom, there it goes. We build up a relationship right away. And that's how we've done it, throughout 22 years. It's just, you do your homework.
Yeah, because they need content too.
They need the content, yeah.
They need trust.
They need trust.
A trustworthy source, a source that they can trust.
Especially in the Latin world where, they don't want to get a master that is signed to 20 companies. All of a sudden, they license it from company A, the film comes out, someone says, I got a contract prior to.
Yeah, they don't want that.
And they don't want that. So, and that trust is built throughout the years of relationship. And in the Latin world, which it's what we do, when they think about a movie and they need a salsa, they think in sunflower. Because throughout the years, we give them salsa, the best salsa, and they never had a problem with the rights, publishing and master. So it's part of it.
And Jamar, could you tell him a little bit more on that? Now he touched on that subject, One Stop and Easy Clear. Tell him what that is, please.
Sure. So music has two completely different sets of copyrights. One is the sound recording, which is the master, the performance of the song, and the other is the composition, so the lyrics and the words. Those are two completely separate, different copyrights. We treat them completely separate, two separate things. However, when you sync a song to a time medium or visual medium, when we're talking about sync here, you need to license both sets of rights. And what Jessica is saying is that if you can represent both of those rights at the same time, the deal is much easier to complete than versus, if you have Whitney Houston records a song, her master's on Sony, but the publishing is on Universal. You're making two different sets of deals. It's more difficult sometimes. So it's just a streamlined way to do business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Make sure that if you go into a studio, and this is one of my pet peeves, having been a songwriter, collaborator with a lot of artists, and I'm sure you've run into this too. When you go into a studio, sign that split sheet the minute you go in. You don't want to deal with someone later coming out of the woodworks going, oh, I saw my song in the movie, now you owe me so many dollars. And it'll happen.
It happened to us. We had a situation with the last Rambo movie, actually. We had a situation, the same thing, yeah.
I had a situation with this kid, CJ, for the song Whoopty. Whoopty was one of the biggest records, so I discovered CJ in James Cruz's house. He was always saying, I got this rap. I'm like, don't bring me rappers, bring me investors. I'm done with rappers. So I met him, boom, he had a hot record. It was on DistroKid. The beat was leased. That's the key. The song takes off, we put it on a record, boom. Take him up to the Rock Nation building, we're signing the EQ. Next thing you know, the producer's from Poland. He owns the rights to the song. Oh. And we're here negotiating, and we ended up having to come a check for $80,000 because of the amount of spins that the song was taking off. That was the #1 drill record at the time. I think that beat Pop Smoke's records, and we had to cut him a check for $80,000, and then still finish negotiating because of a situation of getting to the moment the song gets hot, and you realize the beat was leased for $25 or $50, and in those lease deals, the producer owns the rights to everything.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know. They don't know that song's gonna blow up, and when you make it. So what you're saying is that, and then when I tell the artist, I said, look, and buy the beat, don't lease it. You know, pay an extra $50. Call the producer, email him, and say, hey, he wants to lease it for $25. Say, what if I gave you $75? He's got 1,000 beats in his laptop. Everything is about negotiating. Those are the first deals you make to have intellectual property ownership of something. It's now you own 100% of the record. You own the production, because I'm buying the beat now. And I've done that a lot. They call it work for hire, call it what you want it, but I own the beat. Did you make it? Don't worry, I own it. I own everything. Right? That's the key. That's really where you want to be at as an artist. So when you sit down and she tells you, hey, what's the status with this? No, I know everything. I have a situation right now with NTG and Foreign Tech. We did 8 beats with some kids in Poland, and we dropped the song, and they put a stop on the record, and now we're negotiating splits. They have the split sheets, and we're negotiating splits now. But they okayed the record back on because it's streaming. It's doing about 15,000 a day. We needed to, it's at 7 million the video. We're trying to take it to 70. Right? So it's just, I'm in all those, and I love that aspect. And the difference just between us is that I could also get in front, like I'm on tour, I could get in front of the mic. I also create content as an artist. I have my probably 12th album dropping December 22nd. I don't stop creating content because that's my catalog. That's how I'm gonna continue to make money here when I'm not on the planet anymore, and feed my grandkids. And I have 6 grandchildren. They're gonna have grandchildren. My great-grand, and that's what I teach everyone. Like that's the key to ownership, and your intellectual property. The money's only gonna get better. Tell me if not. You guys have been in the publishing industry. The money's better now than it was before because you can collect from so many different ways. Yeah. Right away, you understand your money. You could look at your laptop and know where the. It's a different game now. I have my entire label in my laptop, and I know how much money I'm making a month, where they're getting it from. The transparency is incredible on the accounting, which we never had before. Not only as artists, but I'm pretty sure as execs that we're in that having to report all the time. Now you're like, hey, the AI is going to send you the bill at the end of the month. Correct me if I'm wrong,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And also, the life of a copyright is the life of the author plus 80 years. So, it's an investment that you have, and the next 2 generations may record one of those songs, and guess what? It could become #1, and your grandkid is going to be collecting on that income.
Yeah.
It's life expectancy.
You have one song that you sing this year in the big
absolutely.
room. That same song, you sing it next year. The same song, you sing it 5 years from now.
Absolutely.
Next year, that same song, they took a sample, a brand new artist, it becomes #1. They take the song 8 years later. It's non-stop once you own it, and then it's a residual. Right now, as I speak, I'm making money.
Yeah.
You can make money from syncing something, and correct me if I'm wrong, from syncing something. You'll get money from the licensing contract, okay, whatever that split is that they're offering you to sync the song. But you also make money on the back end if your admin is done correct. Please tell them a little bit,
Yes,
Carlos,
that's
about
the
that.
residual performances. And number one rule for songwriters is you got to become a member of any PRO. That's the number one rule, because that will depend on future collections on your songs, anything that gets generated. And today's world is digital, so your content is available worldwide. You got a fan in Japan, clicks in YouTube, generates a penny. The song is not registered with the society. You're not a member of BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC. That money goes into a pool. No one claims it. 5 years, that money gets split. Every territory just it gets split different ways. And in some countries, the money goes back to the executives. The high-level executives gets distributed as a Christmas bonus, in a way. And in other countries, it just gets prorated based on prior earnings and all these things. Yeah, we're talking about
and
millions.
And it's only increased
millions.
now because of the aspect of the digital world has made the money. It's a lot more money in the business now. This is probably the first time in I don't know how many years the music industry has finally, they figured out that X amount of streams equals a platinum album. They can quantify the numbers and say, hey, this equals it. It's the first time they hadn't made money in years. They finally, a few years ago, they went in the green. They weren't in the red anymore. And it's because there's so many ways to make money, mechanicals, this, that. There's just so many ways to make money in the music industry. And as an artist, it should be exciting for you to be able, don't be discouraged, because it's so many ways to make money now, right? So it's just, you just have to continue to feed the system with music. That same album, I already dropped 4 singles with 4 videos. In order to, when the album drops, we add those and the ISRC numbers to that album, and then it's gonna take all those spins and all those hits will automatically, when that album hit, and it helps spin and push that album. And I'm 54 years old, right? And I can't tell these young guys that they don't understand how to use technology. I'm like, how am I on, without technology? That's when you grow old. When you see your grandpa put out a flip, he refuses to go with the row. If I was a young guy, I'd just try to sell iPhones to old people and teach them how to use it. And tell Apple, like, there's so many ways. Technology is the difference between you getting somewhere and not. And you have to get on it, and that's what's changed the music industry immensely. I have my own portal. I can upload right now. I can go home, record it as a song in my closet, upload it, 7 days later, it's out to the world. No middleman. I don't care what an A&R has to say, nothing. You're in the greatest times to be an artist, right? But now you have to police yourself on the quality in the music. And then we're here because these are opportunities that we're saying. He's seen how the publishing game has changed, how the admin, how the sync, where the sync game has changed so much that she can create a company and there's so many artists, hey, we're gonna try to get your music. Because they're syncing the big guys. The guys who are signed to the major labels, all their stuff is getting synced because that's how the label's getting their money back. They have a lot of money invested in these artists and they're gonna get it back. But you also, all that money, so you have to understand, if you put in $10,000 into yourself, your goal should, hey, can I make $30,000 this year? I tell artists, can you book, how much money have you made? When's the last time you made $300 for 2.5 minutes worth of work? And then they stand up. What do you mean? I said, how long is your song? Well, my song's 2 minutes and 36 seconds. All right, go to the club, speak it to promoter and say, hey, the next guy you book, can I open up just for a bottle and give me $300? And I'll open up. I gotta go, all right, I'll try you. You just gotta knock on doors. First guy says no. If I told you it would take you 8 no's before you receive the first yes, how quickly would you be running through them no's? You guys hate getting no. I love them no's. That means I'm gonna get a yes eventually. Let's run through these no's as fast as we can. And when you get that yes, you can get on stage, work on your craft, because you guys need to work on your craft. I remember when Ice Spice did her first show, it was terrible. She'd never been on stage before. She just blew up on the internet. No developing, we talk about no artist development. Throw them on stage, 10,000 people. She doesn't even know how to hold the mic. She's like this. Right, so the development aspect, you'll develop yourself and you'll get paid $300 for 2 minutes worth of work. Guess what? If you do that 10 times a month, you can stay home for 20 days and do nothing. You make $3,000 and you'll pay at least a T-Mobile bill, maybe a car note, right? I tell them start with that. Everyone wants to get 10,000 a show. They don't even understand the game. And that's what I do, because that's what I do. I negotiate. Right now, the show in Bogota, I have the door. My boy's doing the thing, I'm splitting stuff, but I have potential to make 10,000, 15, 20,000. But the content that I'm gonna get from going to Bogota, it's so much now that feeds the machine As an artist, go to my Instagram page, and at 54, my page is popping. I'm always posting something. I have a thing called Swakat. I'm always putting something positive. Because you have to be active. And I'm never going to sit in front of anyone and say, hey, I'm doing it. The only difference between them is that I'm actively creating content. They're looking for content. I'm creating it on a consistent basis and helping other artists create it. And I can be in and say, nah, don't do it that way. Do it this way. And the young artists respect me. The legend, the OG. I don't believe any of that shit. I just keep working like I'm here today. She asked me to be here. I'm in Miami tomorrow morning. I'm doing stuff with MMA and Univision and Paramount. Like, I don't stop working because I love the executive aspect of it. But then I could sit there and say, hey, we could create the soundtrack. I could create this music for you. Hey, I could do that video because I have a media team. I have an entire media company to do that. So I only say these things because you have to stay active as an artist. It is the greatest time. I don't want to hear no complaints. You can take off. Just learn the business and stay at it, and then everything will work for you.
That's the biggest thing. Learn your craft. It's not just learning how to produce or how to play an instrument, okay? It's learning the music business. He just said it. The music business is what's going to prepare you when you get in front of a situation to appear like you're a professional. This is your craft. Know it all the way around, in the creative aspect and in the business aspect.
But you should know it, just like we do, so you can teach it. I think the only purpose of educating yourself is so you can teach someone else. Everything we've ever learned was taught to us by someone.
Yes.
We might be experts, we still don't know shit. The game is so fast and it's moving so fast. Let's be honest, guys. We're learning something new every day, but we're consistently there. But at the same time, like I said, it's a different era that we're in. And if you don't stay on top of it with education, everyone who's here, I commend, because we're just trying to. But the whole purpose of learning is so you can go back and teach your people and say, hey, now we're doing it this way. Hey, this is the way it's happening now. That's the only reason all these educational forums and everything happens, and you see all this educational stuff all over the internet. That's how human beings. How I learned to tie my shoes was probably my brother and my mom, right? All these things that we learn from each other is on a consistent basis. So if I tell you, if you're going to educate yourself, do it for the purpose of teaching someone else.
Yeah, pay it forward. Also be respectful to whoever you are in a room, in a networking situation, because you never know. That person sitting next to you today is the guy that happened to be, the guy happened to be cleaning after everybody left, but tomorrow he was just learning what everybody was teaching, and then tomorrow you see him, he's actually working at Netflix. So you never know who that person will be tomorrow. Be respectful. Treat everybody with the same amount of dignity and respect. Because this business is a small business, and guess what? It's also 6 degrees of separation. Okay? We've got a few more minutes left, and if you have any questions, once again, Jamar, one of our amazing co-founders of Sunflower Entertainment, and also an expert, I would say, in sync. And we have also Juan Carlos, and he is an expert co-founder also of Sunflower Entertainment, and an expert in admin. Don Dinero, I can't say anything about you because you just got it all going on. and a great human being, by the way. He has a book called Formula, which you got it. Check it out. Please check it out.
2022 of hard content. What I did is I dropped. Man, it took me 11 years to put this project together, just to help. I would go everywhere, and I just seen people, artists. Not only do you have to deal with your artistry, you have to deal with life. And a lot of the pain, I tell artists, you have to go through pain. We go through a lot of suffering because we're the voice of those who don't have a voice. That's the whole purpose of being an artist. That's why you fall in love with someone's song, because, hey, I went through that shit. Oh my God, right? When you're sad, you hear love. When you're happy, you party. That's why I always say, they always try to compare me and Pitt. Hey, what happened to Pitt? I say, yo, Pitt's McDonald's, man. He's everywhere, $1 billion, right? But he's selling shit, no disrespect, right? And I don't mean it that way, but I mean it's really poppy. I'm the steakhouse. My music is that one restaurant that you go once a year and spend $1,800 at with a bottle of champagne and take your wife for that's what I am. So you have to understand what you're giving out to the world and understand that there's always going to be someone more popular in there. Don't look, it's like going to the gym. If you look left, someone's flabbier than you. If you look right, someone's stronger than you. Just keep pushing them weights and keep working out and stay the course, because, it's to me, it's the greatest time.
It is absolutely. Stay true. Anybody have any questions out there? You have a question?
My question is, what's the best way to network with you all? If I'm interested in sending something, maybe getting some feedback. What's the best way to approach that, say in this scenario?
I have a question, because artists say that. When you say feedback, you mean with music?
Yeah, feedback on the music, lyrical, melody use, production, like.
Are you putting music out? Because I think the feedback should be the fans. Don't leave it up to us, because you're the producer. When people say that to me, and I tell you, hey, you got the greatest song in the world, what's gonna happen? Nothing. I say, are you gonna give up and give it up? No. Stop putting your dream in someone else's hands, and you have direct access to fans. Ask that question to social media. Hey guys, get in the studio, go live, say I'm gonna play you 3 beats, I'm gonna play you 3, and your fans will give you the feedback. And then you say, yeah, but I don't have any fans on social media. Well, guess what? You have a lot of work to do in 2024, and try to gain those followers and those fans. It's where do you want to be next year, and set that goal and be like, look, I got 1,500 followers right now. Let's say I want to be at 15,000 next year organically. Don't panic. It's organic. Not pay someone and you have 15,000 in January, because you have to check yourself. If that's who you are, you have other issues in the mirror. There's ego problems there you need to battle. But really build your business, build your fans. If you have 10,000 fans that spend $100 on you a year, whether it's a T-shirt and going to one of your shows, and you can build an incredible business and have a great life. That's why I tell artists, doing what you love, earning an incredible living. You can earn 6 figures doing what you love, always laid up in the house, creating, going out, right? And if, guess what, one of your songs goes, bam, be careful what you wish for. I'm telling you guys now, I've told NTG, I just prepared them, you're gonna go to the top of the world, be careful what you wish for. It's not what you think it is. I've been there. It's not what you think it is, right? So, and we all want that, obviously, right? We all want the fancy car, the pretty girls, the pretty dudes, all that stuff, but be careful what you wish for. Build your business, do the beautiful thing, the best thing you can do in your life is earn a living doing what you love. Bottom line.
It's a gift and it's a blessing. Build your brand. Yeah.
Build your brand. And that's what I did with the book. It took me 11 years, put it together. It's in English and Spanish. I also put it together as a spoken word so it could be on Spotify and it counts as an album, English and Spanish. And I did 34 videos, 17 in English, which are on YouTube, and 17 in Spanish. It breaks down every lesson. And I put up the content, and I'm continuing to market. That's something that'll be around forever. The physical books on Barnes & Noble. I did a separate deal. I own my own publishing company for the physical book because I didn't realize the business of authors. If you sign with someone, they own your rights forever. I didn't realize. It's worse. You guys don't own it forever. It's worse. They own it forever. So I ended up opening my own pub company. I got advised right, and I just gave them the book to Barnes & Noble and who's the other one? Amazon, physically, and then everything else is digital. And if you don't have the money to buy the book, just go to Spotify or YouTube and get that message. And to me, that was the most satisfying thing. So everything I do from now on, I drop in this album because it gets me a reason to get into Pieta America and talk about the book. Right? So when you tell them, say, hey, Dinero has a book also, they're like, oh, that's even better. He has a book. So I've used those tools. So you have to use tools and angles as you're going as an artist to figure out what's best for you, whether it's a documentary, whether it's, hey, you say a documentary, I haven't created, maybe you do something about beginning artists, the struggle. I don't know, you have to get creative with how you're gonna do other things, just not music.
Constantly reinvent yourself, and I've learned something recently, pivot. Reinvent yourself and pivot.
And remember, it all goes back to the song. So you gotta create a hit. Because if you don't create a hit, you're gonna have a problem.
Back to the music.
It all goes back to the song. It's gotta be a hit. And you gotta believe on it.
Any other questions out there? Well, I want to say thank you so much to this amazing team of experts, our celebrity speaker, for being here with Sing Musica today, talking about admin and sync. Hope you got something out of it. I know that I even got something out of it, and I always do. It's a pleasure to know these amazing people because they're not only experts in the industry, but they're also amazing human beings. And that's what makes it a pleasure to work with them and to know them as long as we've, I think, all known each other. So remember, build your community, build your relationships, work hard on your craft and your business. And if Sing Musica can help, or any of us can at some point give you a little bit of advice, you can always DM us on Instagram or, IG, and we would we all would love to pay it forward. You know, any little piece of advice that we can give you in your career. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, gentlemen. Pleasure. Thank you so much. Sync Musica here in New York City. Musica, songs and audio for visual media.